Good morning and welcome to Sips of Sanity. I'm Kelly.
Good morning, I'm Karen.
Sips of Sanity is our mini-series on emotional and spiritual and intuitive intelligence. There's full series is found at patreon.com/BySarlo, but today, as always, we are giving you our first one for free. Karen, you always put these together in a really lovely way. What are we talking about this month?
Boundaries.
Okay.
Last month, we talked about knowing yourself. And I think this leads right into it because they've just done some hopefully, really gorgeous work on getting to know themselves. So some of this will be an overlap for some of them, I think. And for people who didn't listen to last month's, that's okay. I still think that they'll get plenty out of this if they're just fresh sitting down with a cup of tea or coffee and listening to the show today.
Good.
So we have 5, and we're going to really pack them in.
Good.
So the very first one is to know yourself. And that's why I said it goes into last month's. But in particular, what we're trying to say here to people is when you truly know how to care for yourself, when you really know what you feel. If you know your feelings, which goes to another Sips of Sanity, the wheel of emotions, then when you know what you feel, you know when someone is crossing your boundaries because your feelings change. They become uncomfortable. Or you may feel unsafe. You may feel stretched past your abilities, or you may feel taken for granted. Well, there's lots of different things you feel, so we want you to be aware of what you feel first. And healthy people are going to listen to this and go, well, that's a given. And
good for you if you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. And unhealthy people or people that just aren't aware. Some people are not aware and they think, oh, don't call me unhealthy. I'm just not aware.
Well, that's kind of like saying I eat a candy bar every day. I didn't know it wasn't good for me, but please don't call me unhealthy.
Right. So I'm saying to those people, you are now considered unhealthy if you're just unaware, because that's what you need to be in order to set healthy boundaries. You have to become aware.
Yeah, accepting a fact for a fact is not a criticism.
Yes.
It's just saying, oh, okay, I understand what that is now.
Oh, that's
or
lovely.
what I am or have been.
Yeah, well, Kelly, I'm glad that you said that and that you said it that way, because some people are so used to being attacked, they're so used to being put down, that to hear it the way that you just said it might kind of require a pause, rewinding this and going back and listening to that over and over again. Yeah, because if that's not part of their world to be treated with respect, they're not going to hear things in that tone of voice that you used or the simple factual way of saying it. Because if they have somebody who gaslights them and creates confusion in their lives around what they feel, then how you just said that is going to be a lot to digest, I think.
And the nice thing is there's a pause button and people can walk away and come back to it. I want to also talk about the fact that it's important to know what you think, to know what your preferences are, to know what you like, to know what you don't like. Because we're going to be talking about boundaries, and we can't set them or enforce them if we don't yet know what we think or like.
And if you're caring well for yourself, if you have a high level of awareness around your feelings, around all of these things that you're talking about, what you like, what you don't like, all of that kind of stuff, then with a higher sense of awareness, you have more self-confidence, more self-esteem, you're more assured. Other people who want to cross your boundaries are going to recognize your energy as not that of a victim.
I want to also say that in the very best way, you will be both more tolerant and less tolerant.
Oh, yeah.
More tolerant of, or more patient, maybe is a better way to put it, of recognizing and letting people figure out what they know about themselves, what they feel about themselves, letting them go through the process of assessing where they're at. We have more patience for it when we know what it takes to do it.
Yes.
Then, in the same beautiful breath, you have less tolerance for the people who do not respect you when you have very clearly stated what you think, what you feel, what you know, what you understand, and what you expect.
And then when you, I'm just going to add to that, then you can become the observer of their behavior. Then when they go in and spin and do all of the things that they do to cross your boundaries, you're going to be, what we say in shaman's terms, you're going to have a beautiful bird's eye view. You're going to be a beautiful eagle. And so I'll just say to those people, be an eagle.
People are writing that down.
Yes, be an eagle. That's a spirit animal that gives you the qualities of being able to observe someone else's behavior and observe your own to see that, yes, okay, I'm getting better at this. I know what I'm willing to put up with or not put up with. And now someone else, whoever it is, we're going to go into that in a moment, whoever it is, if they're trying to manipulate or they're trying to gaslight or do any of the different things to you to cross your boundaries, then you can now just kind of sit there and go, oh, this is interesting. Let's see how they behave when I set my boundaries. And you can do it with your boss. You can do it with all kinds of people. And then now, if you become a better observer, you won't automatically go into a distressed emotional state of being upset, crying, and all of the things that you do that become your pattern.
Yeah, I just want to kind of add to that. Before you become the observer of other people's behaviors, you have to consistently enforce your boundaries, which, as we're saying in session 1, you have to know yourself first. You can't become the observer of other people's poor behaviors if you are inconsistently setting boundaries. So we're asking you to first and foremost know yourself so that you can set big ones and little ones.
That's going to it's going to create an energy in you. And other people, especially narcissists, pick up on your energy. They can read that well. So it's good for you to be aware of it and to change yours. And that's what we're both describing, that whole process of how you change your energy.
Okay. And for those of you who don't connect with energy, I will just reword it in the sense of your decision making.
Sure.
Right? Because if you're connecting to tangible things and you believe energy isn't tangible, then it's going to change the way you go about making your decisions, your critical thinking, which changes all the behaviors in your relationships.
Right. We could say changes your mood. We could say a variety of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the little first part of this show. The second part of it is when you don't set your boundaries, what you are.
Okay. So we're presenting, first and foremost, you have to know yourself. Here's the risk not doing it now, part 2.
You got it.
Okay.
So you are, and I'm going to say some of the things that you said on the flip side of it, obviously. So first of all, you are inconsistent. So if you're inconsistent, that might be why you don't get the job promotion.
Okay, your head went career. I'm going to say if you are not consistent, people understand you are not trustworthy.
Yes.
You are not reliable.
You're not honest.
Yes.
Oh, I thought we were going back and forth like a game for a second.
Oh, that's fine.
You're not transparent. And like a lot of these qualities then, I think are qualities that are good if we're in a work environment again, for example, that if you're looking to keep your job, if you're looking to move up or move laterally in your job, if you're not transparent, if you're not honest, if you're not consistent, if you're not reliable, etc., then you may have all of the qualifications on paper. You may have your degrees and your doctorates and all of your paper stuff. You even may have experience and I'll say a good, healthy management system would certainly not consider you for any kind of movement in your position. They may actually be looking at how do we get rid of you? Or, how do we make life uncomfortable or just stagnate them so that they leave of their own free will? If we can't let them go on purpose.
Yep.
Right?
I think too, like this is felt inwardly because when we know that we're not consistent, we know we're not trustworthy, we become paranoid to a certain degree. We become paranoid in the sense of, I don't think people like me. I don't think people trust me. I don't think people, right? We start really projecting, but in essence, actually seeing some truths there. But it comes out in paranoid behavior that makes you even less trustworthy.
Okay. And some people can't see it in themselves, and they see it in another coworker, and make sure that they're complaining about those qualities in someone else to take the stress or the light off themselves. So those are the two topics for today.
Okay. Well, and then we've gone into career and we've gone into some maybe personal things, but if you're a parent listening to today's show, you may sit there and go, well, I also know I'm not in control because I can't set boundaries.
Right.
And we mean the good kind of control,
Yeah.
where you really are, in fact, the parent
Yeah.
by all definitions and standards, right?
Kelly, I know from Parker that if I wasn't consistent, if I wasn't reliable, the dog knew. I also know, raising two children and running a daycare for many years, that the children certainly knew if I wasn't the one in control. I know that which child everybody saw was. And how that then made everything very difficult if I wasn't, when he crossed the boundaries or she crossed the boundaries, how everybody else then saw that could be done, how they did it right after. And then, my God, your day was a mess. Right?
Yeah, and I hope if people are listening today and, we've piqued their interest and they want more tools, that you're understanding that boundaries does not equal no.
Right.
Boundaries does not mean separating me from you. Boundaries is the beginning of collaboration.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point of teaching the 5 shows.
It's the beginning of empathy.
Yep.
It's the beginning of real connection.
You got it. It's success in your relationships, your career, your own mental health, your own physical health. It's key. It's why it's part of this series that's going on this fall in 2020 of COVID.
Okay. Thank you for organizing.
Hey.
As we are now understanding, we need to organize.
Yes.
We as people, not
Yes.
Karen in particular.
Yeah, and we need, I think we've always needed as a species to be able to find the good qualities, the healthy qualities within us, and really harness them so that we could come together as better groups to create safer places, and I'll say places and environments and relationships, politics, everything on this planet. And we are in a crisis, so that it's time. People really should be listening and really taking their notes and working at this and thinking, and flipping through channels. Let's go find some sports. Let's go find something else. We're at a crisis. We need the help.
Okay. So if you would like to continue watching the series, like we mentioned, the rest of the 4 are on patreon.com/bysarlo. We do this once a month at the beginning of every single month so that you can grow your emotional and intuitive intelligence. If you have questions about today's show, you can email us at info@bysarlo.com. And if you have the time and the energy today, we would appreciate a like, a share, a comment, a review, whatever you feel so inclined to do. We appreciate you spreading good word and good tools. Have a great Monday.